Planning a Trip by Chase Adam. So my project was planning a trip to Niagara Falls. So the steps I took throughout my project were choose a destination and dates, and my destination is Niagara Falls, and the dates is July 21st through the 31st. Um, and then step two, you set a budget. Um, I didn't have an exact budget set out for like the whole trip overall, but my budget I would say is probably $300 a day. If you take 300 times 10 days, that's 3,000. So that would be the budget for the trip, basically. And then step three, book your transportation and accommodations. So booking transportation is mainly talking about like your plane, your taxi and cab in case you need to get to the airport or just any type of transportation you will need. You need to book. Step step four is when you plan the activities in your itinerary. So when you plan your activities, you want to have like a checklist so you can have all your activities you want to do planned throughout the trip. And your itinerary helps with that. It helps like plan out your trip so it goes smoothly and you don't have to worry about any problems coming up to affect your itinerary. Step five is prepare your travel information. So that is like your passport, your visa, or anything you need to get on the plane. So like your ID and then steps continued. Step six, and pack smart. So by what I mean by pack smart is like pack according to the weather and just how many days you're gonna be there. And something I learned from experience on going on trips is that if you like fold your clothes just the right way, you can fit more stuff in them than you could if you just threw everything in there not as nice. So step seven is arrange local transportation. So that would be like an Uber, taxi, or cab, or for our instance, my mom has some friends who live out in New York, so they will be our transportation to bring us to our different activities. Step eight is check safety and health precautions. So when you check safety, that basically means make sure you have like a first aid kit, so like band-aids, uh, ointment, or just pills that you need to take. So you just want to be caught up to date on the precautions to make sure no one gets hurt while you're on the trip. Step nine, confirm bookings and your final checklist. So like I was talking more about before, your final checklist will like help you have everything you want to do on the trip and you just go through your final checklist and make sure that you have everything you need. And then once the checklist is like looked over and done, then you can enjoy your trip. Some examples of planning a trip would be the easiest project plan would just be a simple weekend getaway, like 2 days, which wouldn't take too much planning. Unlike if you did a family vacation to Disney World, that would take more planning. So you would want to do like a project and steps on your family vacation to Disney World. So project that I think would be the most difficult would be the international backpacking trip in Europe because that's an international trip. It's not in the United States. So you need to make sure you are all caught up to date on the rules for Europe and like the different laws they have. And then a final example of planning a trip would be a business trip, but usually the company helps you plan it so you won't be planning most of it by yourself. An explanation of my project is proper organization helps avoid last minute issues, whether it's a weekend getaway, a family vacation to Disney World, or even a business trip. Getting a fun and enjoyable trip without worrying about what could go wrong on the trip, and then enjoy a smooth and safe trip. Summary of my project. Planning a trip involves choosing a destination, setting a budget, and organizing transportation and accommodation. An itinerary should be created, including activities, sightseeing, and dining options. Travel documents such as passports, visas, and reservations must be prepared in advance. Packing should be done based on the weather and trip duration. Local transportation options should be researched and safety precaution considered. Before departure, all bookings should be confirmed. Proper planning can make a trip smooth, enjoyable, and stress-free. Closing, thank you for learning about my project and the steps I took to complete my project. Does anyone have any questions?